Will you guys start talking to the live?
Hello, everyone.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to POZ Impact, where this show is dedicated to family and friends who are living with HIV. And we want to thank Mr. Josh Mika for inviting us and having this great show here. We have some fabulous guests tonight. And we have one super fabulous young lady, Miss Sue. She is running for the City of Houston Mayor. And we are so glad and so fantastic that she's here tonight. And we have two other of Josh guests. Can you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, I'm Mo Cortez. I'm one of the co-founders of the Houston Intersex Society.
Okay.
And I'm Kuma. I am the other co-founder of the
Hey,
Houston
Kuma.
Intersex Society.
Oh, I love that name. Kuma. What does that mean?
It means bear.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. So we're so glad that Josh is here. Now, Kuma, can you tell us a little bit about your organization?
Sure. So our organization is the only known intersex organization in the state of Texas. And
Say that again.
So our organization is the only known organization for, by, and about intersex people in the state of Texas. And if
For some of us that's not in the LGBT community, can you please explain that to us, please?
Sure.
We all learning.
So intersex is when someone is born with a body that is anatomically, hormonally, or genetically or chromosomally somewhere in between what is considered typical for male or female.
Okay.
The old word for this was hermaphrodite, but we don't really use that word anymore. It's considered a pejorative.
Okay.
And it's a little misleading because it implies that someone has both sets of fully functioning male and female genitalia. And that doesn't really happen with humans.
Okay.
There are over 30 diagnoses that can make someone have an intersex body.
Okay.
And there's lots of different issues that our community faces, but typically those tend to be around medical abuses. So most of the time when an intersex infant is born, they force a surgery on them to make their body appear more typically male or typically female, and usually as typically female. So there's a lot of scarring, there's a lot of sometimes there's incontinence issues later in life or sexual dysfunction.
Can it be like some mental issues going on there, like confusion? I think I'm this, or
well, sometimes what happens is they will do a surgery and they'll surgically assign a sex.
But what if I'm not that sex? That's what I'm saying. What if I'm not that sex that was assigned to me?
But as far as mental health, there are mental health issues that can arise out of this. There's a lot of people end up with PTSD. There was research recently that showed a lot of adult survivors of these, what our community calls intersex genital mutilation surgeries.
Yes, sir.
That they sometimes have the same sort of characteristics as adult survivors of childhood sexual assault. So there's, in addition to the surgeries, some people are also subjected to unnecessary medical genital photography, a lot of unnecessary examinations throughout their childhood, and a lot of times as adults, we have a hard time accessing competent medical health care. So there's, that's just a very, very small little nutshell of all of our issues.
So what made you want to start this organization?
Well, Kuma and I were actually our friends during. Kuma and I were friends during high school, and we would go to this Friday after school LGBTQ program. We sat together as friends, day in and day out at this program for a couple of years, and never knowing the other person was intersex too. So it was actually by the virtue of Facebook that I looked at it and it said, "Friends you may know." I said, "Oh, friends you may know," and it had Kuma's picture on there. I sent him a message, and he said, "Oh yeah, I'm intersex, and I'm at the TG Center, the Transgender Center that was in Montrose, and we met up that very day and actually founded the Houston Intersex Society that exact day because we didn't want anyone else to live, isolated.
Right.
Being told that you're the only one with this condition or the only one that would understand. So, we started out as a support organization. We had monthly meetings that a lot of people weren't really showing up to, just out of maybe their own anxiety or their own insecurities.
Right.
So
Correct.
after about a year and a half, we kind of evolved to more of a community / educational organization.
Yes.
And that's really what we've been about.
Okay. And how long has it been since you started the organization?
June 2012, so about 7 years. Yeah.
And how many people have you helped along the way? How many?
It's too many, really.
Okay, good. Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of what our organization does, we do a lot of education, both kind of the typical education through local universities, and we will reach out to medical providers and different community, but we also do a lot of education through the arts.
Okay.
So we do short films and live performance.
Oh, okay.
So that's one of the things that kind of makes our organization a little bit different.
Okay. And is there an age limit? Say, for instance, if someone wants to be a part or come by, do you have a age limit or anything?
I guess as long as you have parents' consent.
Yeah, parents consent. At what age would you start to see someone, even with parents' consent?
Well, it just depends, really.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, mostly when we do community events, it's open to anybody.
Yeah.
We also do various different forms of community support. So a while back, there was an intersex person who was in the hospital, like a youth, and we went and met their parent up there to visit them in the hospital.
And provide support.
Yes. So,
That's so
we do
good.
that. We also, we support in other ways as well.
Moral
support, right.
A lot of people in our community have a lot of medical bills.
Yes.
So we do also support with like food donations sometimes
Yes,
when families are having a hard time paying the bills.
So can you hear us?
So let me ask you, if somebody wanted to donate and help you, what can they do to support you or help you?
I can't. Hello?
So we do have a great way that people can be sustaining donors.
Yes,
if they really like the work that we're doing. On our Facebook page, our header has a series of QR codes where people can scan with their smartphone.
Okay.
And they can become a sustaining donor, or they can make a one-time donation to us.
Okay.
Facebook page.
We are the Houston Intersex Society.
Yes.
Hugh Enter. HRUINTER.
And this is I love this because this is very enlightening, especially to someone that's not familiar with it. That's why I'm asking, because we are a nationwide radio station and we have over 125,000 listeners. So I'm sure everyone have no clue, just like I do. I'm learning. I learn a lot from Josh. That's why I'm asking these questions, because we do have a call-in number, and I would like for some people to call in to ask you questions, because that's something I'm learning, just like our listeners are learning. So you're here to educate us, and I'm so thankful that you are here to educate us and let us know. So what is something else that somebody in my position that's not familiar with your organization, what do you think I would need to know?
I would think, of course, the details and information and whatnot and facts are important. But I think one thing that kind of, to me personally, is like just telling my personal story. Because I do this work day in and day out, and have pat myself on the back, whatever. But I was born with indeterminate with genitals, and the biggest concern for them at the time was, they wanted to operate that on the time, but when they did the testing and everything, they were like, well, your heart, you have a hole in your heart. So they ended up fixing my heart, and then, they waited a little bit, and then my parents were are Mormon, so they wanted to preserve the body just as it was, unless it was life-threatening. And then it was at the age of 5, someone had turned my mom into the CPS.
Oh my God.
She was raising a little boy as a girl. So at that time, they went ahead and performed gonadectomies. They got rid of my testes. They were producing testosterone that were mostly being converted, to estrogen, and then also another genital surgery too. It says on my medical records, phallectomy. So or people call it also clitorectomy. So,
Okay.
So what that did was greatly impact my quality of life, in that if I don't take any hormones, if I don't take any testosterone, first of all, they raised me as female, so they got that wrong. But if you don't have any hormones in your body, things are deteriorating in your bones, your ligaments, health and wellness go down the drain. Mental fog and just depression, and all these laundry lists.
All of those steps in there, yes.
Basically, I do this work personally just so that, others will be spread the same things.
Yes.
I don't want them to go through what I have.
Right, and that's why I asked Kuma at first, what if they assign me one gender, but I am not that gender, and then for them to call CPS on your mom without even know what's going on.
Yeah.
That's horrible, and I'm sure that was very harmful for you and your family.
Definitely.
Yes. And what about you, Kuma?
Um,
Because we learn more
Right.
about hearing your personal stories, if you don't mind
goodness.
sharing.
So my story is very, very complicated, but trying to condense it down.
Yeah, just
So when I was born, I also had what I like to refer
Yes.
to as uniquely intersex genitals. So,
Okay.
but I was also born into a space of abuse and neglect. So,
Okay.
I never really got to see a doctor, and that was never a concern.
Okay.
Then I ended up in the foster care system,
Worldwide coordinate.
and through foster care, I ended up seeing a lot of doctors. I didn't have any genital surgeries, but there was a lot of photography that was taken of my body. I had a lot of unnecessary examinations, and adults, even though they're medical providers, they're still adults, right?
Yes,
touching my genitals and touching my body. And because at the time there was a language barrier, I would usually be sedated and strapped down, which is incredibly traumatic for a young child.
Oh, you're a child.
So later on I was adopted, and the adopted family decided that I was going to be raised as female. So all of my documents say female. And then as I started to get older, around the time of puberty, I did start to develop in a way that would be considered a typical female puberty.
Yes.
But then later on I started to go through a typical male puberty, and my body started to masculinize. So because my appearance and my behavior did not fit my adoptive parents' criteria for what a female should be, they gave me an ultimatum that was, and this was in my late teens, they said, well, if you're not going to be a girl, you need to be a boy.
Oh my God.
And so they got a court order because I didn't want anything done to my body. I didn't want my genitals touched. I didn't want any surgery done. And they were kind of okay with that. They really pushed for me to have genital surgery, but they did get a court order for me to have a forced mastectomy. So they did remove my breasts. That was not really with my consent.
Yes.
I think between our two stories, we show kind of the range of what happens.
Yes.
That these surgeries and medical interventions impact both infants and young people, youth. But I know for both of us, we've had experiences as adults trying to access medical care. And sometimes I'll go in for trying to access hormones, or if I have a stomach ache or a flu or something, and the doctors seem more preoccupied with my genitalia.
Instead of your symptoms and what you actually are there for.
Even at LGBT community clinics, I've had experiences trying to access hormones and having doctors want to do genital examinations. I had one doctor who was very, very
So what
adamant.
they have to do with your sore throat, if I'm coming in?
Right.
What they have to do with my sore throat?
I had a doctor that was more preoccupied on trying to figure out whether or not I had a prostate. As someone under 40 who had no prostate issue symptoms.
But I'm coming for a sore throat.
Right. I was actually trying to get hormones, but completely unrelated.
Oh my
And
God.
she didn't want to give me any hormones unless I consented to a prostate exam. And I was not okay with that. But so I had blood work panels done, and she ran a PSA level without my consent on that. So even little things like blood panels. So the other thing that sometimes I know I have come across is and simply filling out paperwork to access different things.
Okay.
That sometimes that can be limiting. So there's a lot of
Well,
issues that
I'm
come
so
around.
grateful that you both started this organization to help people in the community and to educate at the same time. And that's so great of you to do that. Thank you both for that. And I've learned a lot just listening, but as a child and as an adult, I just feel that that's unnecessary for you to have to still be going through that. And you both are fabulous people. I love your attitude. I love your personalities. Y'all are just great. And thank you for educating us here today on POZ Impact with Josh Mika. You have any questions, Josh? He's our production manager today.
I'm trying to do a little bit of everything.
He's trying to do a little everything.
I'm just this I don't like when things don't go just as planned. But I wanted to introduce Sue.
Yes,
She's
Miss
running for
Sue.
mayor of City
Yay.
Houston. And so I wanted to give her a little bit of an introduction because
Yes.
as we're getting into the politics season, I want to make sure that there's more options. I know that there's a lot of people who on social media or a lot of different outlets are not giving you the platform.
Yes.
I feel like, like everybody who's running for mayor should at least be deserve to get a chance to speak to the public.
I agree.
And it's not like you don't have a chance. You've been a city council person before,
Yes.
so you've already been in. You know how kind of the city already works. So you kind of know you already have some of a plan to go to start going in straight in. So let's go ahead and introduce you and go ahead and give us. Tell us who you are and why you're running for mayor.
Sure. Let me just say, wow. Thank you all so much. I learned so much just sitting here, and thank you for your bravery. And
Yes.
it hurt my heart when you were telling me your stories.
Yes.
But by telling your stories,
You're helping someone.
then you're going to save a lot of other people
Yes.
of what you went through, and your families too. I'm sure it was difficult for them too. It is. So thank you so much.
Yes.
You're so brave.
Yes, you
I
are.
really want to get to know more about your organization,
Yes.
more of what you're doing, and you really do. We need to have that story told
Yes, we do.
over and over and over again. But most of all, you're both just really nice people.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes.
So my name's Sue Lovell. I'm running for mayor of the city of Houston.
Okay.
I am a former city council member for 3 terms, and that's 6 years. And also I was elected unanimously Vice Mayor Pro Tem, which was by my colleagues, both Republican and Democrat. So
Okay.
that was quite an honor. And for the 6 years that I was on city council, we did a lot of work. You remember how the city used to look so terrible with all the
Yes,
graffiti
yes,
and everything?
yes.
I decided it wasn't going to be, and we put a group together, and we started working on it with stakeholders. And what we ended up doing was interacting with the graffiti
Yes,
taggers,
yes, yes.
understanding kind of why they were doing this, because they wanted to show off their art, and they're some really talented, and then figuring out how they could do so in a legal way. So now you notice all over the city we have these beautiful murals
Yes,
everywhere.
yes, you're right.
And so we took that, and then historic preservation, I did an ordinance that everybody said could never be done. People were too property rights strong. You weren't going to tell me what to do with my property. Well, as it ends up, neighborhoods like to preserve their history.
Okay.
And more importantly, the predictability. When you make an investment in your home and in your neighborhood, you want to make sure that the character that you bought into is what remains and stays. And the
Yes.
only way to ensure that was to come up with an ordinance that says you cannot tear down an historic home. When you go to do renovations or
Yes.
remodeling, you have to come in and have that approved before the historic commission. But the way you put together a historic district is only by neighbors going door to door and petitioning, and they lay out the boundaries. So all the power is in the neighborhoods to the people that are doing this,
Okay.
if they want to form one or not. And we have 35 of them now, and it's made such a huge difference in the city. You can look at the Heights and see how the Heights
Yes.
is growing. Parts of Montrose.
Mhm.
You know, I'm trying really hard right now to save Independence Heights, because if this mayor has his way and is reelected, the I-45 extension is going to just wipe out Independence Heights, which was the first incorporated African-American city in Texas. And to lose that history,
That's a lot.
that would just be a sin, as my grandmother used to say.
Yes.
So let's back up to, I moved here in 1970.
Okay.
I mean, you're giving us.
I know everybody listening. We like keep going, keep going.
I know some of the ordinance that you're talking about, and I had no idea that you were behind them.
Yeah,
I
no,
know
I'm-
about
I'm-
I know about the historic preservation. I know about some of the other ones. And I'm like, wow, that's so interesting
So I'm
to
totally
learn.
opposed to it. And this-
That's
yeah.
that's. I work in Independent Heights. I have customers in Independent Heights, and I'm like, I'm completely opposed to it as well too.
Well,
But
this mayor's for it, and
I know.
he sent his people from the city that represent on the Transportation Policy Council. One is Councilmember David Robinson, the other is the mayor's traffic engineer. He directed them to vote in favor of the widening of the I-45 corridor. So how much sense does that make, given what we just saw when Imelda came?
All the way up,
And it
okay,
turned into a stream.
Okay, yeah, all our
It was a
mics
pond.
is on, you're talking about on
But
the
more
left side.
importantly,
So is that
they want
like
to take the
1
Pierce
through 7,
elevated,
something
which
like that?
goes around downtown
Okay.
on, is it I guess the
Yes.
eastern side,
Yes.
where Midtown all, because now
Yeah.
Midtown's all
Uh-huh.
nice.
Yes.
Yeah, Midtown, we all know Midtown. Midtown
Okay,
back in the
that's
day
what
was
we
where all the
did.
good gay bars were.
Yeah,
And before they moved into Montrose, and it's fancy schmancy now. They want to move the
Okay.
Pierce elevated
okay,
back to the other side.
okay, I got
And
them all
run
up.
it around the other way, which
Okay.
would,
Yeah,
which
I got 'em
slashed
all
through, Edo,
Yes.
Fifth Ward.
Bring
And
them
then on
down.
the back
Okay, got you.
side,
Thank you
They
so
want
much,
to
DJ.
put it down
Okay.
below grade
Bye-bye.
and put a park over it. So can you
Okay,
imagine
thank you.
what that's going to
Bye-bye.
be like? It's going to be just a big, huge detention pond. But more importantly, it's going to thwart the development of those communities. There are also 3 public housing communities there that have been living there for years. Their kids go to school over there. They're very settled. They want to displace all of those families, which is probably close to about, I think, somewhere between 600 and 800 families through there. And it just doesn't do any good for anybody, except we can now showcase Midtown and all the way to the park.
Okay.
Which that'll be a beautiful shot. But the other part is, they want to remove Pierce Elevated from there because they have all the homeless people living under there.
Yeah.
And they can't do anything about it, so they just want to shift it to the backside where you really can't see it. And there's other ways to deal with the homeless community. So I'm absolutely, totally opposed to it, and the only way to stop this is for this mayor not to be reelected. He's backtracked a little and said, well, I'm not for it like it is now. But that's what you told people to vote on, and that's what you raised your hand at a public forum and said you were for. So it'll rip up the near north side, Independence Heights, and it goes all the way back out to Beltway 8. It also harms the businesses downtown, because if 45 is backed up, like we all
Yes,
remember
yes.
I-10 and all that.
Yes, yes.
Well, first of all, that's an evacuation path if you need it. Number 2, why are you gonna make it easier for people to go live outside the city and then get into town to go to work faster? Why don't you fix the transportation system and the roads inside the city?
Yes.
So people will stay here. So it isn't gonna do anything to alleviate traffic. We see those where they've done it before, it hasn't alleviated any. And it's gonna take years and years, 10 years, I hear, because it's about 3. So nobody's gonna, the rentals will go downtown. The business owners, commercial business owners are concerned about how that will affect them. The downtown residential community. And all the people downtown, our downtown's now a really cool place to be, and
It's finally getting there. I've been
plus
here.
if we want to go compete for some conventions or different things to come to
Yeah.
town, then how do we do that with the freeway ripped up coming in from the airport, first of all? But how are you going to accommodate that with one of your major freeways ripped up? It just won't work.
What is your thought on HFD, and how can we give them a little bit of a raise? And we recently passed Prop B. Prop B is dear to my heart. I voted for them. They do so much for our community. I don't know why this mayor is so anti HFD or the Houston Fire Department, when they're paramedics, they put out fires, they save your life on any circumstance that happens. What is your thoughts on Prop B, and what is your...
So the firefighters endorsed early Mayor Turner. They went block walking. They helped to get elected. He only was elected by 4,000 votes. And that was not inside the city. It was when the Missouri City, Fort Bend County boxes came in. And he had to go he said he was going to do pension reform. When he did pension reform, part of it was to take the earned benefits that the firefighters had. In other words, they didn't take their raises up front. They put it in the back in their pensions. And he took about $150,000 per firefighter out of their pensions. So now they're upset. So when they were upset, they were opposed to him. They said, we're going to defeat what you're doing up here. And he got upset about it. He told them, I'll give you the worst deal ever. And he said it in front of a group of people. And so the reason all this is here is because he's vindictive. He was mad that they went up there and tried to beat him in Austin. And he told them, if you do, then you're going to get the worst deal. And it just rode downhill from there till the firefighters, my oldest son is a firefighter paramedic, until it got so bad, they said, we're just going to go to the people.
Okay.
Prop B. The most important thing in this city, the baseline of democracy is citizens petitioning their government for something.
Yes.
And it passed 60-40. This mayor laughed at it and took it to court and said, no, it's unconstitutional. Everybody in this city should be concerned, because we all know as people that have been jammed up in some way, and our government is not giving us by either who is voting. And we've had some councils in this city, I was here in 1970, that weren't very open or friendly to anybody but a certain group of people. But if you can get a petition together and go to your government, that has to be honored, no matter what you like or not. That is our only hope if we end up with a council or mayor that won't do the will of the people. So he took it to court to litigate. So he also manufactured a budget crisis. There was the money there to give them their raises. The money that was allocated in the budget, they had not spent some $50 million of it. So it was available, but he manufactured a budget crisis in order to convince council members that they should go against the firefighters. But then here's the really scary thing. What was the solution? To fire the firefighters.
I know.
Fire the firefighters.
He actually fired
Who does
them.
that? Yes. He got the vote. The only reason he got backed out of it was because of a court decision. So you fire, 225, 230 firefighters. So what happens when you do that? The last one's in or the first one's out. So when I was on city council was a time when we were having some issues with the fire department and some of the women firefighters. And it was like, you've got to recruit more people that look like this city. So they've spent the last 10 years doing that.
Okay.
Do you know that the people that would have been fired would have been 40% Hispanic, 30% African American, a large portion of our female firefighters that have come in through there. It would have taken us back to just being an old white fire department.
The good old boy network, huh?
Yeah, and that isn't how the firefighters want it to be. They've worked very hard.
Yes.
They understand in situations and as diverse as this city is, that the diversity of their fire department is very important to how they deliver their services. And so it just wiped all that out. And it just didn't matter. So we were saved by a court decision, and but they still haven't gotten their raises. So there's a way for those raises to happen. There's always a way. If you're a good leader, there's always a way to find a way to make things happen if both sides trust each other. And the thing is, and I thought he did a real disservice in trying to pit the police department against the fire department.
Well, he gave him a huge raise the same time that he took away from the HFD I was like, oh, this was negotiated before, but you knew you needed to negotiate with the HFD. You know you had to pay them some more money. So why did you go ahead and give HPD this extra raise when you know your HFD was hurting? And there's trucks that need to be replaced.
But remember the police department, they joined in one of the lawsuits.
They did.
Here's what got me, and our audience that I know we're talking to, just our discussion, all of us have had somebody make fun of us and say,
Yes.
I call it mean girl things or taunt you. So, I'm particularly sensitive about this because my son's a firefighter, but I also have a nephew who's a police officer. The representatives of not the department but the union said nice things about the firefighters and said, but they get paid to sleep, and they get paid to eat, and for the mayor to be sitting there and not shut that down because it was like Mean Girls. It was unnecessary. It was unfair, and the mayor should have shut it down and said no. That doesn't go on. Everybody, first responders, are respected and equally respected, and there'll be no taunting or making fun of. Because my son, who works 48-hour shifts, there's sometimes he never goes to sleep.
Yes.
So they're not paid to sleep. They're paid to be at work.
Yes.
And if they get an opportunity to sleep, then we should all want them to, because
be
they will be
rested up.
better rested.
Yes.
Just like you go to the doctor and you see an intern, you say, how long you been out?
Yes,
The
yes.
resident, how look at you. When was the last time you slept?
When the last
'Cause
time
I'd
you had
rather
something to
have
eat.
you being rested, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And let me ask you, what is your point of the sanitation workers?
Oh. So, look, recycling went away when China stopped buying it. And
Yes.
Yes.
And this mayor knew in advance. There was a project called One Bin that the city was working on through Mayor Parker's sustainability, and she had gotten $1 million grant from Bloomberg to study how you can come up with a solution when recycling goes away. One Bin came into place. It didn't get put into place. As things are that are new and innovative, it takes time. Turner came in. He said he'd look at it. But the real truth we found out since looking at emails that have been had to be released was that he and his solid waste director, way before the mayor even came in, had decided that they weren't going to go for One Bin.
Okay.
That they'd already been talking to this FCC company, which is a Spanish company that does work in Dallas, and that's who they were going to choose. So when they got called on it, they put out another RFP, request for proposal, but it was so weighted towards FCC that of course they got it. And then they went and built a recycling center on the east side of town, almost in Chambers County.
Yeah.
So when you pick up trash, the trucks come through your neighborhood.
Right.
They look like dinosaurs. You're just going along. They get full.
Yes.
They take and they go to what is called a transfer station, and they dump out what they have.
Okay.
And then they go back into your neighborhood. The transfer stations are near your neighborhood.
Okay.
On the recycling, Waste Management used to have the transfer stations because they bought our recycling, but they went away when
With FCC.
they did.
Oh,
They went
okay.
away because they didn't have a contract with the city. So the mayor and FCC put in no transfer stations. So now you're on the west side of town, picking up out there on the west side of town, and your truck gets really full. Then you have to either drive all the way out to Lay Road,
Yes.
which disrupts your route, disrupts your time, costs more fuel,
Yes.
comes back. So because of that, this stuff wasn't getting picked up. They were getting behind. And they had old trucks because they hadn't taken care of the trucks. So the mayor did. He said, 24 drivers do not go rogue on their own, on their very
Yes.
own.
Yes.
I worked for FedEx for 10 years.
Yeah.
They know when you stop to
Do
tie their
anything.
shoe.
Yes.
To
Yes.
say it
Yes.
nicely. They know the same
Yes. Yes.
with those solid waste trucks. They have GPS trackers on them.
Yes.
They have supervisors that follow them. So the directive, the mayor, he said it over. That directive never got to those drivers. They were doing what they were told to do, and that was pick it all up at once, because they were now getting calls saying,
Yes.
my trash isn't being picked up. And what was the mayor's response? We're gonna investigate. And they investigated. And they decided, whoever did the investigation, those 24 drivers and those four supervisors were suspended. They
Oh
were
my God.
punished. So this is like on their record. On their record. And these people in solid waste have been there
A long time.
They're city employees. They're the ones that deliver the services. I learned that on city council real quick. I can strut around looking as good as I want to look. It doesn't mean a thing, because I don't deliver any service that's really pertinent in this city, like solid waste or
Yes,
fire or
yes.
police
Yes.
or public works or anything, street repair. I don't do that work they do. And so for them to be treated that way, that was deplorable. It really was. It was just flat out, it was mean, is what it was. So that he could say, well, they're gonna get picked up, and I took care of the problem. That's not taking care of the problem. That's punishing innocent people.
Yes, it is.
But not only that, we're the fourth largest city, soon to be the third, but yet we have no recycling. You know, we supposedly got glass back, but if my recycling bin has been picked up in the past month, and we're going on a month and a half, because it doesn't get picked. You know, recycling is every other week. You know, and so my recycling has not been picked up, and it's just sitting there looking cute.
So, you know.
Full.
So instead of just being honest and saying, we have to figure this out,
Yes.
instead of the spirit of, hey, if we went to the moon, we can figure this out. If we built a dome stadium,
Yeah.
or if we took a
Right,
ditch
right.
and made it into a world-class port, we could certainly, or what I say, I think Houstonians' greatest accomplishment was Apollo 13, when they were gonna die. And it was our neighbors
Yes.
out there that went in with duct tape and paper clips
Yes.
and, you know, whatever, and made something that saved their lives. That
Yes.
was our finest hour. Those are Houstonians. That is
Yes.
what we are. So we can't figure out, well, you can take the paper. We have an old pulp mill out here that could be refurbished. Pulp gets a high price. You could be making money off of it. We can take our glass and it goes back. The plastics are the problem, but right now, one of my ideas would be, and one of my gripes against Metro is, you know, before you do what you're doing, why don't you make sure that everybody that takes the bus has a bench and a shelter when they're standing out
Yes.
there?
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
why wouldn't you bring in there are companies that make those out of plastics. Why wouldn't we take our plastics
It's a good
Recycling.
idea.
Recycling.
and send them
Yes.
over to this company? And there are now big 3D printers here,
Yes.
and they have to have plastic.
Yes.
So why not take that plastic out until we can get to a time now where they call pro-cycling? And that is, there may be a time when the ordinances say, you can't manufacture anything that can't go back to its original form.
Okay.
Plastic is the one that has the
Yes.
hardest time.
Yes.
Glass goes back, it does. You know, everything else, they haven't, that chemical structure, haven't figured out how to take it back into its original form. So why aren't we using our time and effort doing that? I'll tell you, because FCC, when you look at who got the contracts to build, they're some of the mayor's largest donors and contributors.
We're learning so much tonight.
Pay to play.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's exactly what this
Wow.
mayor's, has been known about. It's just, you gotta pay to play.
Mhm.
If you're gonna donate to his campaign, then he's gonna give you a nice seat on the board, or he's gonna give you some kind of position somewhere, a contract here. He has the mayor can spend. There's no controller, so he has the ability to spend $50,000, unanswered to anybody, and unlimited $50,000.
So here's the other thing, as we're sitting here tonight. The mayor promised that, that when he went to the caucus and was endorsed, that he would do a non-discrimination ordinance in his first term. no conversations, he hasn't done anything, he hasn't brought people together. He put together a task force that's met. Have y'all been engaged with it? Have y'all been included? No.
Very infrequently.
There's a story, but
Oh,
I don't
yes,
know if we.
oh, we want to hear.
Yeah, we want to hear it. Yeah, we need to hear the story.
I got issues with them as well too.
Come on, we need the story.
I will tell you all the story off air.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, okay.
So if that's
We're
what
nationwide.
you're
You
hanging
can tell
your hat
us.
on,
Oh,
well,
they
that's
like.
not the point.
Oh, okay.
but if that's what you're hanging your hat on,
Yeah.
that's what you're about. That's what you've done for our
Okay.
community. That ain't much. And you know, I don't know if you heard the story about what he did to me at the LGBT caucus, but they signed up 177 new members who were
Yes.
people from his
Campaign.
no, they were from his summer youth program that he had, and they
Oh.
paid $5,000 and something check.
Yeah.
Had them show up at the meeting. Their sole purpose was to vote against me and make sure. Now I'm the first woman president of the caucus. I was on the board. I was the president on the first referendum. You know, I have a long time, pioneer of being the first openly gay on the state executive committee, Democrats, DNC, helped start the AIDS Foundation. I mean, I have a long history
Yes.
in this community. And he came in and he bought it, almost like it was going to be a shield or some inoculation or something. But he was very determined he was going to buy it, and it was going to be his, and I wasn't going to have it. The thing is that when you take and you buy things, you break them,
Yes.
Yes.
is what happens. And for a lot of us, and there were people there, I will say, that stood up and I talked for me, I was so proud, who had been with me in the trenches through many different things, who know my character, know what I'm about, and know that since I've been in high school, which was in the 60s, that I've been out and open, and the stories that I was encouraged to tell, like y'all are, I feel gave people permission to come out. And so, excuse me, so yeah, he bought it. Flat out bought it and took it.
No, that's a damn shame. I know he bought that vote, but the caucus people will be saying, "Oh, it happens all the time."
No, it doesn't.
They always do this.
No, it
People
doesn't.
always.
I've been in a caucus since the early 80s. There are people that, like when I ran before,
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that I got the endorsement, or I thought somebody was going to go against me, that I would call all of you and say, will you come join? You have to get your own membership, will you individually? But not going in ever has somebody walked in with a over a $5,000 check and signed up, 100 all in bulk. They had them set all together. They were instructed what to do and how to do it and what they were supposed to do. No, never. And for his campaign manager, who used to be my campaign manager, and Anise Parker's to say, he did that for us, that's absolute flat lie. Anise Parker and I never had to have anybody come by an endorsement. We were judged on the merits of what we had done in our community and our work.
And that's how it should be.
That's
You know,
exactly
that's how it should be, but that's not how it was.
Wasn't. But I believe that that my community that I love, I believe that they still know me and they know what I've done, and that when it comes time to go into voting booth, I believe that they will vote for me because they will know. And thank you for being able to talk about this, what I've done,
Yes.
and what I stand for, and who I've stood with. And I
Yes.
believe they'll vote for me.
You definitely have my support.
Yes.
I'm not a fan of the current administration on both levels, the presidential, state, and city at the moment. And so that's why I want to bring people who are running for different offices in here to have a conversation and have a platform that they can choose. We are on YouTube, Facebook, and we'll tag you on everything. But we want to make sure that people are able to get out there and explore and actually have somebody to know there's another option out there to vote for than is that is just not the mayor.
You know,
The
I
current
helped
mayor.
start the AIDS Foundation Houston.
Okay.
I did. The small group was started. I was the only woman. I lost a brother in 1988, my youngest brother, before there was even anything anybody could take. You know, I stood up along with many people in this community to the discrimination that was rampant everywhere you went, including a mayor that we had helped elect, who then turned her backs on us and didn't help us get federal dollars or anyway, wouldn't even acknowledge our own health department to do epidemiology to find out what the situation was here. We wrote the first AIDS booklet ever. It was honest and open and said, here's how it's spread. We did the first safe sex campaign. We did the first food pantry. We did the first apartment complexes, the first short-term residence for people to stay while they were waiting for their Social Security. This city, Houston, did more on that front, and we didn't have a lot of dollars thrown at us as LA did in New York and other cities, San Francisco. Thank God for our drag queen community who, as they were all sick, went and put on shows Sunday after Sunday after Sunday and donated their tips, and that's really what kept us going to take care of people for a very long time, for a couple of years. We finally went to United Way, and we were so happy because we were in their appropriations. They were gonna, and then all of a sudden we disappeared. And then people that were there came and were appalled. And it was because they were just afraid that if they gave us money, then there would be donors that wouldn't give them money and that it would impact all the people they were trying to help. And so what did we do as a good community?
Yes.
We decided we weren't gonna give United Way any money for a while until they decided to help us. Just like long ago, Coors Beer, y'all probably, yeah, that was a good one out, you know, and I really like Coors Beer too.
I've never heard about
Yeah.
Coors Beer before, but
Yeah, I
I
mean,
wa-
so there's a lot of things
Yeah.
in this community I'm very proud of. And because people are out and open and honest and stand up and tell their story and who they are. And I'm sorry, I just don't think this current mayor is our mayor that we need to move forward and continue being who we are as a city.
yeah, I agree. I think we need new leadership, and that's why I'm so excited that we have somebody else that is running for mayor.
Sue Lovell for mayor.
Yes, and how can somebody get a hold of you if you want to volunteer, want to donate to your campaign? I know you're all over on social media,
Yes.
but tell our listeners.
That's been a new experience.
I know.
Yes, social-
I have somebody doing that and she's wonderful. But they won't even let me
Touch it.
Don't touch it. I understand. I'm in the same boat. I
I had to
understand.
have the explanation of, well, we should put more out. No.
No.
It's okay, I trust you.
Yes.
I'll leave it alone.
More is better now on social media, and that's unfortunate, because there's not much of door knocking or much of
That's right,
phone
social
calls
media.
anymore.
We're
It-
going to.
It's really just social media.
Yes.
But we want to make sure that you get elected. So how can somebody
Sure,
donate to
it's-
you, and how can someone
Please, and any amount is
Yes.
absolutely appreciated.
even $1?
Even
Even
a
a
dollar,
dollar.
really. It's Sue Lovell for mayor.
Okay.
Here's what we're gonna do with your money. We're going to mail out to the LGBTQ community. We are. There were other people that were left off from the caucus and that were on food. We're gonna hit the inner city District C
Yes.
with some mail pieces and with a name like Lovell in Clear Lake. I mean, you
Yes.
gotta go. But we're gonna just go to the good old fashioned phone calling. It's hard to do door knocking here. Mail pieces targeted. If you would like to, in your neighborhood, do a neighbor-to-neighbor card, get in touch with my campaign. We'll get that set up for you. There's
What
nothing
is
better.
neighbor to neighbor card?
So you, Josh, you would say, I want to send a postcard that says to my neighbors, hi, I'm your neighbor and I think Sue Lovell should be our mayor. And
Okay.
here's why.
Oh.
And then we have access to the addresses of the registered voters in your precinct.
Oh,
And we
okay.
can send that out, and then nothing means more than a neighbor
Yes.
saying to
Yes.
you,
Somebody
Yes.
I
already
know this
know.
person.
Yes.
We did,
That's a
you
good
know,
idea.
the first time I won, my opponent had $500,000. I was so happy to have $100,000. But I had helped start a Little League in Montrose.
Yes, yes.
So Little League is a great way of
Meeting
Spreading the word.
people.
Spreading the word.
Yes.
and then all my work I've done in the party, and you know, we did the first dog park in Montrose, and
Oh,
all
okay.
of that sort of community activism. But we did a lot of neighbor to neighbor. And in fact, my card pushers on election day were my Little Leaguers that came, picked up their bags and went out and chased people down, and asked if you want to vote for Coach Sue. So now I'm a grandmother.
All right.
I'm raising my granddaughter. She's 5. I've had her
Aw.
since she was a baby. She actually, I sat with my family talking about running,
Mhm.
whether I should do it or not. And my oldest son just said to me, "How are you going to be able to explain to Callie why you did it?"
All right.
And I said, "I don't know." And he said, "Well, it looks to me like you've answered that question."
There you go.
So she went to, I told her, "We're gonna run, here's what it's gonna mean, and here's things to look for." So there's a little notepad in the car, but she went to school the first day and said, "My mama and I are running for mayor.
All right now.
Hello.
All right now.
Yes.
And we're gonna fix this city."
All right now.
Yes. Yes.
She got my vote.
Yes.
So now, you know,
Yes.
and I can't.
You got your assistant already.
I can't raise, you know, Busby is, you know, he's got deep pockets.
Yes.
Bill
Yes.
King, he's got money, and the mayor's got, you know, great
Deep,
reasons. We don't have that. But I know, in everything I've ever won, somebody said, including the nuns when I graduated from high school,
Mhm.
"You'll never amount to anything,
Oh.
Miss
Yeah.
Noel. You'll
Look
never
at me
be
now.
the first printer in this, you know, you'll
Look at
never
me
be."
now.
Well, I'm used to you'll never be.
Yes.
And I've proven people, yes, I can.
And that's why we're so excited that we have you here,
And we learned
talking
so
to
much.
on POZ Impact, where we can bring candidates into the field and just have an open dialogue about anything and everything. You know, Amilda is very fresh on everybody. I was not. I mean, I was impacted by that. I had to like wait it out for 5 hours. I was
Yes.
stuck. And you know, off of 50, I was off of the Beltway and 610,
Ooh.
and there was no way for me to go. I had to just stay put. But our drainage is not happening. I mean, so can you talk about drainage? The county, Linda Hidalgo, she said that there's going to be certain counties, there's going to be certain properties that always will have flooding or will always have problems. So how we know that, you know, Richmond floods, we know that all these areas that flood, Buffalo Bayou, you know, just comes a little bit of rain. You know, this was just a thunderstorm, and we all got flooded. So how can we get this flood mitigation under control? I mean, we cannot live in fear of a thunderstorm.
You got it correct. You said it's a drainage issue. When people say we have a flooding problem, like, no, we don't have any problem with flooding. We have a problem with drainage.
Yes.
And now we have storms that are more intense. They drop more water. They seem to come and stay. They like us and they stay for a while. So now, and we've got a pattern now of what's going on. And so now we have to start realizing this is the reality of what our weather is like and what our storms are going to be. And you can't go back and do it the old way because it doesn't work. Now, if it's a hurricane, and none of this flooding that we've had have come off hurricanes. It's
None of
been
it.
off storms.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Harvey it was technically a hurricane, but when it got to us, it wasn't a hurricane.
no, it's sad. It got back out, came back in, it just sat. And,
Yes.
and the really terrible thing was, it was on the west side of town. And when after you'd made it through, everybody made it through, but it puts this pressure on the reservoirs that had to release the pressure. And that's what the major amount of flooding that happened out there. If Imelda hadn't shifted east, as she did, thank God, which was out to where there was more land around Winnie in those areas, and they got clobbered because there's small towns
Yeah.
and that infrastructure they have in no way. And then part of their problem is they have on I-10, they have those toll barriers up, which are solid concrete. Well, they act like little dams, of which the water would naturally sheet flow off. It doesn't. It just keeps backing things up. It can't. Water wants to go where water wants to go. So we've got to figure out here and accept that they're going to be more intense, they're going to get more water, and how do we handle that? Part of that is the county's responsibility with the bios and the flood control. But they just passed a big bond issue, and I understand they're still waiting for the city, for the mayor, kind of say, what are we going to join with them? And if the city's not and the mayor's not, because they don't want to do anything that's unpopular at this point, so they're proceeding forward. The other is, we have a drainage fee, of which part of that was to pay down all the debt we had, and we've been paying down on that. But now it's to look and see how do our storm sewers, how do we keep them where the water will flow properly? How do we redo our streets so they can carry the water away quickly? And it may be in some of these storms, it really is going to be, you're gonna have to pull over and wait and let the water flow through, because it's so much water at this point. But that shouldn't be the end game. The end game should be, how are we gonna get those waters off those streets? Yeah. What are we gonna build? Are we gonna have underground reservoirs and detention ponds that water comes to? How are we gonna do that? And then how are we gonna pay for it? And so that's the type of planning that we need to have now. But there's simple things, I always say, in our neighborhoods and our neighborhood super council and civic associations are incredible in this city. This city is nothing but, it's a bunch of little villages and neighborhoods. Every one of those neighborhoods knows Wyatt Flint's there. You go and talk to them, they'll tell you.
Yes.
They'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this gets blocked up and it won't go. Okay. So how about we start having a way that the people who are investing in our city, living in our neighborhoods, have a voice in protecting their investment, instead of us saying, well, let's listen to them. It may be something as simple as putting up a diversion that diverts the water over a certain way into a larger storm sewer outlet, or that the street it tilts to one side, so it goes, and it can't get out possibly. Memorial Drive does that with the Esplanade. It gets all flooded around the Esplanade, but the road is tilted as such the water puddles there rather than back into the storm sewer. So there's a lot of things that can be done, but just keep doing it the old way and running around and waiters helping people. That doesn't get it, guys.
We just have to, exactly, doing it the same way is not cutting it any longer. Like, you should not be reelected into office if you have not fixed the problem that we had. We had Harvey, we've had, the tax day flood, we've had, Memorial Day flood, we've had, everyday flood. It rains and I'm like, oh my goodness, are we gonna get stuck here? Like, what's gonna happen? I'm always in this fear, and I'm tired of living this, and I've heard from several people that they're just tired of living here. They don't want to be feared that they're gonna get flooded. They're not gonna that their house is gonna get flooded constantly. So that is a big impact. But also our homeless population, we can't forget about them. My main thing is, a lot of people say that the homeless population has gone down, but I don't see it, and perception is everything to me. I live right by it, and so when I come here, when I go to when I come here to the radio station under the underpass, I always see currently people there. But when I go under the underpass of 45 and Scott by U of H, there's people living there. It's everywhere in our city. It's just not one little place any longer that there's our homeless population. So I feel like it is growing, but we're not addressing it into a level that people can get from being temporarily homeless. And there's people who are couch surfing, that are not maybe homeless, but they don't have a permanent household. And so, POZ Impact, I'm a LEAP graduate. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Project LEAP, but part of Project LEAP, what it showed me was that we have a lot of resources, but not a lot of people know about them, you know. So I'm happy that like to be able to get the word out, but how are we gonna address, you know, how do we like tell our homeless population, we have you, we're gonna get you, you know, you may you may have some kind of infection, you may be living with HIV, you may have diabetes, you may have hypertension. Let's take care of you, and going to jail is not the question.
No,
You know,
criminalizing
is not the answer to it. And also, you know, people who are coming out of jail, you know, we need to make sure that they can have housing and making sure they can provide a safe environment. Because if they can't, then they just end up being homeless, and then it just adds to the problem.
So it would be so easy if there was just one reason why people are homeless, but there isn't. There's hundreds of different reasons. So I believe that how you approach this first, you know, they're human beings, and they're in a terrible situation in their life, and they need some help. So the only way you can do that is, I believe, by first, you know, not going out and counting the population, going out and knowing the population, and what are their issues, and being able to collect that data as to what, you know, what's the biggest reason why people are there. What are other reasons that we could very quickly, you know, we could fix that and get them off the streets. And you have to take all that data, and you have to sit and look at it, and you have to make a plan on how you're going to execute this plan to be able to help people to move off the streets. And there's just some people that like staying on the streets. There's some people that I've met, because I've gone around and spoke, and it's like, well, I can pay rent, but then I can't buy groceries. I can pay rent, but I can't buy
The electricity or, you
Exactly.
know,
Medications.
medications. Yeah. So they're living in the tents very quietly, tucked up in the bushes. You really don't see them because they're cleaning up their trash. They're not walking around.
Yeah.
They're just up there living, like they're camping out. And so, you know, in San Antonio, they have a place that the city's put together where all the social service agencies are in one place. And there is a database of the people that are out there and what their issues are. And so when cops get called because somebody's in the middle of the street talking themselves or doing something, they can find out who that person is and what their issues are, and say, well, did you take your medication today?
Yes,
No, why?
yes, yes.
Because it makes me feel bad. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get you back over to whatever we call the center.
Yes.
Here, that you can get this taken care of today. And the people, if affordable housing is a whole totally different.
Yes.
Then this city needs to figure out how young people and people that can't afford $1,000 apartments get to live.
Yes.
And not drive them out to the suburbs. We want y'all to be here. It's a lot of energy and a lot of talent that we send out to the suburbs that we want here. So if they are people in those situations, then have a space available for them, and if they want to bring their tent, and they want to pitch a tent and do that, then it can be done in a dignified way, and good for you for figuring out. Until we can figure out where it is, we're going to find you an apartment. But you can't be sleeping under the bushes or in a place which is dangerous for you.
Correct.
And part of that could be how we do our housing is the city has housing dollars available.
Okay.
So instead of looking at building new places, you know, downtown they built all those new apartments.
Yes,
and what the city did is they bought down the cost of the door. So the developer could build and afford it, and then people would have somewhere.
Yes.
So let's say an apartment is $1,000 a month.
Yes.
We take our housing dollars and we say to the owner of that complex, we want to reserve 20% of your apartments. We want those to be $600 a month, and we'll pay you $400 a month. You actually get thousands more apartments.
Yes.
And what you do by spending the millions of dollars to build more apartment complex that maybe they never should be any more than 300. That's just warehousing.
Yes, yes.
And then the land's too expensive, so they're out. So why not approach the people that already have invested their money and say, let me subsidize this
Yes,
rent.
yes.
And like in Montrose, there's a little Class C, and they're all over those apartments. Like I had $50 a little garage apartment.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so you could get those down to where they'd be $400 a month.
Yes.
The people that have been owning them are selling them because their taxes are too high.
Mm.
So if they participate in the program, have their taxes capped.
Okay.
So they can
Yeah.
keep the Class C. They have to pass code, but they're not the fancy.
Yes,
But there's
yes.
somewhere you can go and live for $300 or more a month.
Yes.
So you work, and then you work your way up. And then how you do people that really need, like Section 8 housing
Yes.
is, you put them in a mixed income community, so when that mom, who you helped become successful,
Yes.
now becomes workforce housing, which is 30% subsidized, she and her children stay in that same place, and those children go to that same school, and they stay in that same neighborhood with that same support group. Instead of the way it is now, if you get out of Section 8 and you do well, you have to go live in a totally different place.
Okay.
So then when they do get to the point where they're market rate, they just stay in the same unit. It's the unit's designation that changes. And along with that comes responsibility of helping to take care. So part of that being in those apartments is you have to join a civic association, a nonprofit, or some group in that neighborhood to help them continue to grow and do the things that they need to do.
Yes,
There is a
yes.
civic responsibility attached to that cheaper rent.
Yes.
If you guys are just tuning in, you guys are listening to POZ Impact. We are Houston's first radio show dedicated to people living with HIV, their friends and family, on Real Talk 100 Radio. We have several guests on
Yes.
our panel, and I'm so happy to have everybody here.
Yes.
So I just want to give a little shout out to Lady Hale. If you guys are not familiar with her,
Yes.
she is all over the community. She has a couple events coming up that I want her to.
More than a
do-
couple.
She's super busy. Her calendar is super busy.
Super busy.
But I want her to kind of share some of her events because she does a lot with domestic violence.
Yes.
We're doing feeding the homeless, and she
Yes.
has this huge event right now. We just did. We gave away I think it was like 300 backpacks that they gave
Backpacks,
away,
yes.
and then previously to that they gave away 50.
Yes. So
she-
400 total.
400
my first
total.
time out.
400 total backpacks she gave away this season, and it's not
Yes.
even over with yet.
It's
because
not
we,
over.
We
We're gonna
know
do it for Christmas.
we know kids go through supplies
Yes,
like water.
yes, yes.
I need pencils. I need this.
I need
that in the
everything.
middle of the school year, and people are still left behind.
Yes.
So, Lady Hale, you have you know before our show, you don't need an introduction.
I don't need no introduction.
But go ahead and introduce yourself to our
Hello,
community.
everybody. This is Lady Hale with Real Talk with Lady Hale. I'm on this same station with my co-host here. Josh will be with me. I'm here every Tuesday from 6 to 8 p.m. And don't forget, around 8 o'clock from 8:30, I do story time with Lady Hale. What I do that because I go Facebook Live and I read bedtime stories to our children. Because I'm a former school teacher. A lot of our children do not have books in their homes, and they have no one to read to them. So all of my children have phones. So what I tell them to do at 8 o'clock, I'm going Facebook Live. So I'm here now. I've already downloaded. That's what I was doing, I pre-recorded my story today. So I downloaded. So my children do have their story time. They were texting me, yeah, I have the story. So that's my part in doing to bring the closing the gap on literacy. So I read to our children and they can interact with me doing story time, and that's Monday through Thursday. Now tomorrow we are having the domestic violence walk. We'll start at Discovery Green at 9 in the morning, and we'll march all the way to City Hall. So we have many speakers tomorrow. So if anybody in the Houston area want to come and participate, it's no cost at all. So just come and help us march downtown. And we have plenty of speakers, and I'm one of the speakers. No, I've never been a victim of domestic violence, child abuse, or anything. I just believe I have a voice for someone who cannot speak for themselves. So that's why I get involved. And also October the 5th, we're having our own domestic violence event where we'll have a lot of speakers. I have one lady, Miss Latrell.
Her son was an infant, so her ex-husband or her ex-husband now wanted to get back with at her, so he killed the baby, the infant. He killed the baby and was going to stab her to death, but she made in her mind, that she was not going to die that day. So I have another young lady. Everybody know Miss Niecy Hamilton, which is running for District D. Her grandmother sold her into sex trafficking at the age of 11. So she went from prostitution to stripping to everything. And I'm so proud of Niecy of what she's doing right now. That's just one. Those are just two of our speakers. So I want you to come out. And we're also giving 50 bags to domestic violence of women who are in the shelter. We're giving away hygiene bags to them. I work with a domestic violence shelter, and we will go in there and provide 50 hygiene bags.
And what time is that again?
It's this Saturday.
Saturday.
Yes, ma'am. It's from 2 to 5 p.m. Yes, ma'am. And so far, I only asked for 50 bags from the community. I went out there, and now I have 80 bags. Yes, and not only that, I'm giving away 50 backpacks full of school supplies for their children also. So that gives me 450 as of now on my first time out. So I'm so thankful for that, and I thank Josh for always being there for me. Josh has always had my back. Every time I call Josh, he's always there. We work so closely together, and I truly love him from the bottom of my heart. And in November, if anybody under the sound of my voice may need a Thanksgiving dinner, or y'all know anybody in the community that may need a dinner, have them call me at 832-417-1696.
Or if you want fellowship, this is a friendship Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we just everybody is welcome. We don't care what your religion. We don't care. Just come on. We don't even care. Yeah, we're gonna feed you. Are you gonna do the HIV testing during that day?
I'm gonna hope so.
Okay,
yes, I will have hopefully.
Okay, we good with that. Come on down and get tested while you're there. You get information and resources while you're there. So
speaking into existence.
Yeah, I'm like, all right now. I thought you were supposed to be doing that. He handles all of that for me. And then in December, the second Saturday in December, we have chartered a bus from First Class Tours. A lot of my students in Acres Home, 3rd Ward, 4th Ward. Some of them have never been out of the community, so we're taking them to like Kingwood, River Oak, so they can see Christmas life. I want them to see that there's another area besides just the project. So it's some people that live on the other side of town that do not look like us. They look like us, but they don't live like us. So I want to take them out there, and I had an attorney come forward to pay for that for us. So we're so grateful for that. And then that next Saturday, I want you to know, if anybody need bicycles, we're giving away 200 bicycles for children in the Houston area. I partner with Clarence Miller. He's running for Harris County Commissioner. I don't know which one. It's one of them up there. Which one is it?
Precinct 4.
Precinct 4. So, and then I'll partnered also with Bishop Williams with Cornerstone Bible Fellowship Church. He provided us the location free of charge. So if your child need a bicycle or your child wants to go with us with the Christmas lights, and I want to tell my parents of special need babies, I have set aside 15 seats for my special need babies. So if anybody want to bring their child and their special need child, please let me know, because I have a nurse or RN that has volunteered. She will come on board with us. And I'm also a chaplain with the Harris County Sheriff Department, and one of my fellow law enforcement family will be coming. And I want y'all to remember my good friend who I truly love, who was always there for me, Sandy. So I was very hurt when that happened to him. So I'm sure everybody know we will be doing that on Wednesday at the Berry Center. And right after then, I will be going on to Precinct 5, where he was in District 5, and I will be providing lunch for my brothers and sisters in blue over there. So if anybody would want to come along with me and help me, you're more than welcome, because my friend, he loved everybody. And I've known him for about 7 years, and I've never known him to say anything negative about anybody. He was always for his community. I truly loved him because he taught me a lot. I never know about the Sikh community, but he taught us a lot about love and having a pure heart and always looking past the flaws in other to love them in spite of. So I just tried to prepare for that, just not understanding how somebody could do that to I call him a friend, but anybody that know him, once you met him, you were either a friend or you were family. That's just him. So the first few times you meet him, you're a friend, but after that, you're family. So I will be there, and anybody that want to come with me to the precinct on that Wednesday to help serve my law enforcement family, you're more than welcome. But we will get through this, and I'm glad they caught, and I said it too, I'm glad they caught the coward that did that to my friend.
Well, the whole city will be with you.
Yes, thank
if
you.
not there physically.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody's broken heart.
Yes.
Huge loss. It'll be a big hole in our heart for a long time.
Yes, because he was just community, you know, that's all. He never saw color. He never saw anything. He just saw you as a human being. And anything he could do to help you, that's what he would do. And I felt, and I know him, I know he have to uphold the law, but if there was a problem with this gentleman scared that he was going to go back, if he really knew him, he would have helped him. He really would. That's what I believe in my heart. You know, he had to follow the law, but he would have did it with dignity and the pride that he is. And so I truly, he's going to be missed, you know, because he was going to be the sheriff that was going to come on on December. He was the one that was going to be my sheriff on there, you know, for our protection. Now, we'll be all right. Yes.
Yeah, we'll find somebody else.
I'll find one of my other brothers and sisters in blue. They'll help me.
But you know, so thank you so much, Lady Hale,
Yes.
for all that. And you did mention your bus, right? December?
Yes, December, the second Saturday in December.
And it's for all the kids,
everybody, anybody who wants to go, or the list is filling up. So if I do need to get another bus, I've been told that somebody will provide us a second bus. So we have enough seats on the first class buses for 56. But like I said again, I'm saving 15 seats for my special need babies. So I got a lot of flack from that. Yeah, whatever. If you're in a wheelchair or whatever, you know, I want to make sure my babies. Yeah, well, whatever. If it's a senior and they would like to go, you know, I will open that up to a senior or something. I have no problem with that. But I just want to make this to be. It's free. It's no cost. And we want to make sure all of our children on there will be getting a Christmas gift from us. And Santa will be making an appearance also. So come out and get your Christmas toys. And don't forget, please, we have all these bicycles. We have to give these bicycles away. So make sure you come. And if you need to get in touch with me, you can always contact me at 832-417-1696. Or you can go to my Facebook page, Real Talk with Lady Hale. Or you know Josh, you can always contact Josh or somebody here at the radio station, and we will direct you where you need to go.
Our phone lines have been super quiet.
Yes, I don't think you gave the number out. That's why they're quiet, Josh. You didn't give the number out.
Our phone lines are super quiet. Like,
yes, so please call in.
Yes, if you're listening,
thank you, Dale.
Call in. We still have Sue. She's running for mayor.
Yes, and somebody had a question for you, Miss Sue. They said, do you support decriminalization of cannabis in Houston?
Yes.
Yes, she does,
Yes.
Miss LaTanya. She does.
Because
yes.
we also.
Okay, she's gonna tell y'all why. Hold on, let me get you, Miss Sue. Hold on.
Because
there you go, sweetie.
It's decriminalized
yes.
In other states. And
okay.
So, you know, it should be across the board, equally across the board. So,
okay.
I think we're going to get there. I think
we're
slowly getting there. But yeah, I would be for it. We're finding there's a lot of good uses.
Okay, medical. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, did you get that, Miss LaTanya? Oh, you're getting a lot of thumbs up. So, yeah, you're getting a whole lot of thumbs
up.
I'm
all hippie doc from the '60s. So.
Oh yeah, she said she a hippie, Miss LaTanya.
Long ago.
Mo and Kuma.
I love that name.
Kuma, I was like,
I don't know why I thought that was Hawaiian, because when I had went to Hawaii, I met a man that was named Kuma. That's why I thought you were gonna say. He said it means bear.
Yeah. Bear. Did you guys have? I know we've kind of been a little bit of everywhere.
Yeah, we everywhere.
But any kind of like, you know, how can people? Somebody may have some questions. Maybe they don't know what they are.
Yes.
And they just know they're not male, female, I feel something differently, you know, or I grew up, you know, like you guys had all kinds of experiences, different types of experiences.
Yes.
And so if somebody's out there listening, because you know we're on, and maybe in the future,
Yes,
because
yes,
you know
yes.
we're on YouTube, so somebody may be
Yes.
searching our you know googling intersex
Yes.
and saying, hey, what is this, and listening to our you know the YouTube channel. So somebody who maybe new or
Just
doesn't
need
really
educated
know
like me.
a little bit about it and wants to know more,
Yes.
there is a community out there,
Yes.
right? So
Well, I would say, like, you know, come out to some of the events.
Yes.
like what?
When is your next event?
October is actually a really big month. It's Intersex
Okay.
Awareness Day. Intersex Awareness Day is October 26th. So we're having
Okay.
a couple of different events that we're doing that day. October 25th, Gender Infinity is like an LGBTQ, like,
It's a
Conference.
trans and gender diverse
there you
conference.
go, yeah. And we're doing lectures there. We're also doing the keynote on Saturday, the 26th. But on the 25th, if you look at Houston City Hall, it'll be illuminated purple and yellow in honor
Okay.
of Houston Intersex Awareness Day. So.
Oh, okay.
As well as the Graustark bridges, the
Yes.
bridges over
On
59.
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
Bridges. Yeah.
Yes, the
Yeah.
59 bridges, those will also be illuminated purple and yellow on the 25th.
Yes.
On the
Oh, so
25th
cool.
at Gender Infinity, we'll be presenting workshops.
Yes.
Mo will be doing Intersex 101. I'll be doing a workshop on person-centered care with intersex bodies. On the 26th, we'll be presenting the keynote
Yes.
at Gender Infinity. And then on the 27th, we're having a special event, a film and performance event. And you can follow us on Facebook for more information on
Where will that be held?
Yes.
That will be at Houston Media Source. So
Oh, okay.
it's kind of
Okay.
it's a little
Just
bit different.
Yeah, we
and-
were just there.
but
Yes.
we will have we're going to be doing film and live performance with
Okay.
with a studio audience there who will be part of the recording, and so that will
Okay.
be broadcast
Yes.
on Houston Media Source and available
Great.
online as well. So we're very, very excited about
Yes,
Is that
yes.
the one on Robert Street?
Yes,
Yes.
I think it's
yes.
104 Robert Street.
Yeah.
Harrisburg.
Yes.
Right off Harrisburg.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, we were just there.
Yes.
It was,
Yeah, just
you know,
a couple weeks
fantastic
ago.
facility
Yes.
to be able to record video and don't listen to Real Talk 100 radio.
Yes.
As the owners are here.
Yes.
But definitely. So, anything last comments that you would like to bring up, or
I actually do have one question for the candidate here.
Yes.
please.
So,
Yes.
For Sue here. Oh, I'll turn around. There you go.
Yes. Let's everybody ready.
This past session, myself along with Kuma, we reintroduced the intersex protective bill.
that. As individuals,
As
not
individuals,
as the Houston
not as
Intersex
part of the
Society.
nonprofit, nothing like that.
Okay.
Just as individuals, as people, we introduced an intersex protective bill where basically the kids that are in understate care would be able to, at their own time, would be able to make decisions on surgeries if they want surgeries at all.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever
yeah.
they decide is the right choice. So my question to you is, what would you do to help support this bill, or would you support this bill now?
well, absolutely, I would. And you know, the city has a lobby team that we
Oh,
put
yeah.
together, usually a lobby plan that we take up to the session. And I would absolutely feel we should, you know, roll this into what our lobby team does, because it's a way of being able to spread more information from the mayor's office, which I think has some weight to it. So
Mhm.
yes, whatever I could do. I used to go up and do lobbying, and whatever I could do to help you as mayor, I'll be there for you. And you know, start pushing it through. It takes the time with this legislature, but
Definitely.
eventually you can prevail, as we have seen on other issues. So
Excellent.
you'd have the full support of the mayor's office and the mayor's staff and lobby team.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes.
That's amazing. You know, to have a
Yes.
mayor that, you know, and
We'll
also like
support you.
we talked briefly about the ordinance. You know, 'cause it was the bathroom bill.
Oh, yeah.
It was dubbed as the bathroom bill. You know, and Houston, we're considered the most friendliest, or not friendliest, but most diverse city.
Yes, yes.
And we're a growing population, and we are a Democrat primarily. I just don't know how. I when people say it won't pass, or when people tell me that it's not the right time, what do you say to that? What do you say to people who, when, Pride Houston, I'm gonna drag them every time that I can, wants to host, the 2020 or 20 whatever, Pride, World Pride here. And I'm thinking, how are we gonna host that if we don't even have an ordinance that protects people who are LGBT? You want 5 million LGBT people coming to Houston with no rights? How, like, what's your vision behind that? And you like your vision, because if your vision is Mayor Turner, that's not gonna happen for another 4 years. So we'll be another 4 years without some kind of ordinance, um, for protection for our community.
So, under the city charter, you have to wait 2 years to make a charter change, which just happened. But given the date, it has to be 2 years. So it really would be 3 years before there could be another charter change, to move forward on this. But you could take those 3 years to do things in this city and to get people, around that idea. It's like making soup. You have to let everybody put what they want in it, and to taste it. Is it what they want to do, and are they happy with it? And it could be these next 2 years, doing which the last ordinance should have been, where it was a time in which everybody had a say and everybody felt they had a say and were happy about moving forward. Now, practically, politically, you have to be prepared. There's a strong group out there that's going to come after you.
Yes.
And so you must have the money in the bank for a campaign. Big money in the bank for a campaign. The minute it passes, you have to have your message and how you're going to present this already organized, and you have to be able to have a plan to deflect anything that anybody would say to divert the attention away from what the bill is, like the bathroom bill.
Yes.
When that ad ran, somebody should have said, "Excuse me, but that ad's about bad parenting." There isn't a parent worth salt in this city that sends their small children into a bathroom by themselves. Sorry, this doesn't work. This is not it. But there was no big pushback on shutting down that part of it. So that's what we have to do. And I truly believe it can be done. It can be done with the right leader and in community and the business community and everybody. I do believe it can be done. I really do. I want to say something though. This city, first, we now have Lori Lightfoot, and Chicago finally caught up. But none of the other major cities had for a long time a mayor that was elected. What our community did. They hadn't had, I believe, as many openly LGBT people on council. They hadn't done or running agencies and things in this city, which we are. I believe part of that was when we came through the AIDS epidemic and crisis. It had no help. We had to learn how to be leaders that were prudent and spent dollars in a way that impacted, and we learned how to be leaders. And that's what makes us good city leaders. And you see us leading throughout the city. So I believe Houston already is a great city for LGBT people, and we had done something that no other city, San Francisco, New York, all those people had done. Congratulations to Chicago. So I think how you define us can't just be based on a non-discrimination ordinance. It has to be our overall record of what we've done. But is it absolutely important to have one? Yes. Because I could be elected mayor and be asked to leave where I live because I wouldn't be protected. And so this city, and I believe that what happened was a stain on our community, on our city. And we have to take that away. We have to show the whole world what we're really about. And that is the most diverse, tolerant. And we have to do it and be smart about it and do it in a way. And that's why it's really, really important, because everybody in this city should be protected.
I agree. I have one more question for you. I'm in the process of opening a charter school. What is your views on charter schools?
So I'm not opposed to charter schools.
Okay.
Simply, I had Catholic school education.
Yes.
And I was raised in Fresno, California, and it was a check mark against the Monsignor if there was a Catholic kid running around going to public schools. So you know, we had a lot, and I went and had a very good education. I believe charter schools have their place.
Yes.
Because what I've learned is I always say this as, I don't mean it, but it's like one size, it's like pantyhose, one size fits all, one size fits none.
I say not one curriculum fits all children.
Exactly.
That's my philosophy. It never
not
fits.
Every child, and you know, I have
None of them learn just alike.
They're not learned the same way.
We have to have an individual educational plan, and we don't do that in
So
public
if
schools.
we offer a buffet,
Yes.
a menu,
That's right.
places where your child can go and learn,
Yes.
be successful. And that may not mean your child is going to go on to a university.
Right. Well, I'm looking
Maybe
at
your
entrepreneurs.
child's gonna go be really smart, learn how to fix air conditioning.
Yes.
use
A
Texas,
technical.
and make a lot of
Yes.
money.
Or be an
Or
entrepreneur.
Be a plumber, be a mechanic,
Yeah.
or be something else. Or a chef. Look at this
Yes.
city.
Oh,
We're,
yes.
we're
Or a mechanic. They
Yeah.
make boom
you know,
money.
Montrose is getting kind of old.
Yes.
We can afford to live there.
Yes.
But it's still known as the neighborhood with the restaurant.
Yes. Yes.
There's other neighborhoods that are catching up, but so yeah, it's a matter of your education is
Key.
how does your child learn to be happy and productive
Yes.
and do something that they really love doing.
Yes, and another thing I'm doing, because I'm going to primarily be in the Acres home area, we're going to have our own garden. So I'm going to teach and train the
great.
children how to raise their fresh fruits and vegetables. Because as a school teacher, I used to bring like blueberries, kiwi. Kids had no clue what those fruits were. So I had to let them know that. And so what we'll do during the week, we will eat those fruits. And then on Friday, I would allow the children to take those home and to their brothers and sisters. And what's left, we will have a farmer's market, which is an Acres home. I'm going to teach them the entrepreneurship skill so they can get customer service. We're working on math, we're working on science, because we have our scales, we're going to have all that. And whatever is left, I want to make sure that our seniors in the community will have fresh fruits and vegetables, because a lot of the seniors I know, they have to make a choice between food and medication, and no one living in the richest country in the world should have to decide if I'm going to take medication or I'm going to eat today. So, because my school will be in one of those places, is what's called a desert. We don't have a bank, we don't have a grocery store, we don't have a hospital there. So in my community do not have access to fresh fruits and vegetables.
So you know, the food desert thing is true, but now you can go online.
Yes, yes.
So it kind of takes away that having to have that physical
Yes, the physical
there
store. And I
in
found
order to be
out
able to shop
by
with.
having the farmers market, they're now being able to use their SNAP benefits at the farmers market.
Yeah.
So it's $2 for every $1 when you shop at the farmers markets.
So I wanted to ask you something.
Yes,
do
ma'am.
you do anything with teenagers? Because everybody always brings stuff, backpacks and things.
Yes, yes.
Little kids get a lot.
Oh no, I have K through 12, and if
Okay.
you're getting ready to go into college, so we provided for kids. I had them the elementary kids, and then I had the middle school backpacks. Then we had the high school backpack.
Okay,
So
great.
when they came in and say, I got 11th grade, I have a 10th grade, I have a 5th grader, you know, to pick a bag from here, pick a bag from here, and pick a bag from there.
So since the little kids, you have all those bicycles.
Yes.
Is there anything that you think that I could assist you with that we could get to our teenagers? What do teenagers want?
Well, most of the teenagers were telling
Video
me
games.
video game, and I don't know where I'm going to get hoverboards from. I have no clue. I'm like, if anybody knows somebody that want to donate hoverboards to us, I will take them.
Okay.
But most of them, I like what I've done for my older kids. I give them Walmart gift cards.
Okay.
So they can go to Walmart and pick out what they want, because they have clothes, they have colognes, and different things that they want to take, because a majority of the kids, and what I am collecting, I'm going to start in October collecting coats. So many kids do not have coats. As a school teacher, I had to take my own money. Kids would come in shorts and t-shirts and buy clothes, buy coats, buy socks, little basic things like that. The teenagers really love, you know, like the different socks and stuff. And if they're little boys get that. You can buy them. They have them at Walmart too. They're called like the one that have the Nike that have the little check on the side. They love those, and the girls love any kind of color flashy socks. So and you can get those at Walmart, the dollar store. So we will start that probably, like I say, next month, right after the domestic violence. And I would love to partner with you, because I had asked Josh when we did a thing. We had all of the politicians to come to talk to the kids. We were trying to get with the LGBT. Yeah. So we couldn't find teenagers. We wanted to incorporate those teenagers, but we had a hard time finding the teenagers. So anytime we have something, if y'all know teenagers that would like to partner with us, that would like to come, we welcome them. You know, I'm learning a lot from my brother here, you know. So if you can't get in touch with me, make sure you get in touch with Josh, because we would love them to be a part of what we're doing when we have banquets, when we go on trips, or we're doing stuff. We would love for them to be a part. We were trying to find, but we didn't know where to go or how do we do. So you're here. So y'all please, and your group of kids, we would love them to come and be a part of us, get on the bus with us for Christmas, get toys or whatever we're doing. We would love to have them involved with us.
Yeah, she's also gonna have a toy drive. Did you talk about your toy drive?
Yeah, we're gonna do the toy drive. There's so much. Yeah, we're gonna be doing the toy drive. And so far, I got the box the other day. Build-A-Bear gave me 75 of those bears, and those bears are like $60 a piece. Now they didn't send me the clothes though. They just sent me the bears. So we got
better nothing.
Yeah, and they are the real plush, not the little cheap one. They gave me the real nice plushy ones.
My granddaughter loves to build a bear.
All right, let her know. Lady Hale set her bear aside for her. I didn't put her name on there, because tell her I'm voting for her for city bear too. Tell her she got my vote. And if you're available, we would love for you and your baby to come with us that second Saturday.
Okay.
That second Saturday, we would love for you and your daughter to come with us. Yes, yes. And you guys are welcome too. Bring your everybody, but here I'm get on the list because it's filling up. But if I do need to get a second bus, we are ready to get a second bus. But if y'all can kind of help us with that, find those teenagers, please let us know.
Well, first class is first class.
Yeah, first class tours. Yeah,
very good.
Yeah, that's who we chartered our first bus.
We all know
with.
people that are out there, and so the invitation is open.
Yes,
you know,
yes,
please
yes.
Don't feel like it's just for
whoever.
Yes,
for everybody.
It's for everybody to come in and enjoy. And see Christmas lights and
and have a hot chocolate, and we're gonna have.
If you guys haven't seen
the Polar Express going too.
Fall or winter doesn't get here.
Yes, we gonna have to have some sodas, cold water.
We'll be running that out.
Yes, and we're gonna be watching the Polar Express too while we're going around. So yes, and we're gonna have the little visit from Santa for all of y'all believe in Santa. If you don't, well, I take all your gifts in. Yes, I am so excited. I got to meet all of you tonight, and I look forward to working with you. Anything I can do to help, any resources that I may have, just let me know. I'm more than welcome to work with you, because Josh and I work very, very close together. If you see one, you're going to see the other one.
Yes. Sue, can you please retell our listeners how can they get in touch with you? How to reach you on social media, and tell them where that we need volunteers. Do you have an event that's coming up soon that you would like for people to maybe to attend, or that you would like to?
We're putting together something, but it may be just volunteers that we'll be getting some yard signs and doing some work like that. So it's Sue Lovell for Mayor.
Okay.
My website, and it's the same of Facebook. And then my Twitter account is, now I know I have a hashtag Sue for Hugh, H-O-U.
Okay.
But I believe it's Sue Lovell for Mayor also.
And let me ask you, where's your victory party going to be? You know, me and Josh love parties. Where's your victory party going to be?
Most certainly, it'll be a runoff.
Oh, okay.
I believe so.
Okay.
And there's just too many candidates.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Right.
We haven't decided yet, but as soon as we figure that out,
please let me and Josh know.
Yeah.
We love the party and we love to eat.
Well, we would also celebrate as well too, because you know, we want to make sure we tell voters. I'm a voter deputy volunteer. And so we want to make sure we encourage people to not only register to vote, but actually vote. And I'm kind of happy that, you know, Houston or Harris County, now you can vote at any polling location out there, you don't have to go to your polling your
Yes.
home location.
Right.
That was a huge problem. You know, so I'm glad that problem has taken away, and I think it's going to
Yes.
encourage a lot of
Sure.
votes.
Yes.
But also, a lot of people are discouraged because they did vote for, you know, a past candidate. They voted for Prop B, and they saw that their vote didn't mean anything. So how can we encourage voters to come out and actually support a candidate that doesn't have the millions of dollars out there?
Yes.
So I'll
You
tell you
know?
one way you could help me. So on Wednesday night is
Hang
the
on.
first televised debate will be live, and it's Channel 13 in Univision. I forget the date of the next one.
Okay.
But it's a KHOU Houston Media Source sponsored,
Oh,
and they've chosen not to invite me to that to be
Why?
part of that debate because they said something with their criteria, of which we're still trying to figure out what that is. It was
What
very
criteria?
What?
disappointing.
Yes.
Well, we don't know. Trying to figure out what it is, whether it's money, I don't
Oh,
know.
okay.
But I haven't had any reporting. The deadline on the 26th, so the next reporting will come. It's due by October 6th. So when they made their minds up, they don't know anything about that. But again, as you say, and as I've always said, you aren't always measured by how much money that you raise and what
Yes.
you do. And given the fact that I have all the experience, not only at City Hall, but being involved and being a leader in many different arenas throughout this city, I think some of that means something. And so if you want to feel free to call them and encourage them.
What
Oh,
number?
we will.
Is there a number?
Yes. We'll
It'll
find
just-
KOGU.
Okay. Oh, channel 11.
Channel 11.
Okay.
And then Houston Media Source.
Oh, okay,
Also is
yes.
one of the organizers. Because right now there'll only be the 4 candidates, which would be Boykins, Busby, King,
And it,
Mayor,
I should say
yeah.
only the male candidates.
right.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
gonna put it
so
out.
woman, oh, yeah.
I'm putting it out there as well too.
Yeah.
Only the male candidates.
Yeah.
Yes. I didn't think
Yes,
about it
I'm,
like
I'm
that.
calling Houston social media. I'm calling Houston public media out there because they're
Media
doing the same
source.
thing too. They're not. You're not part of their candidates. You know, when they're like, oh, they don't meet. These are the only people that meet our standards, but they didn't go say, oh, what polling or
No.
what you have to have in order to meet those standards. So that's why I was like,
And this
this
most
is.
recent poll that came out, it's a small sampling with a high margin of error, and my bet is that it's probably just name ID. And of course, the current mayor would have more name ID because he's been mayor for 4 years
Mm-hmm.
and state rep for years
Yes.
before
Yes.
that.
Yes.
But even then, only that is like in the 35, I think it is, isn't anything to to write home about. There's still a 22, I think probably a higher 25 to 27% of undecided voters that will decide which way this race is going to go. And so it's just really important for
Yes.
them to be able to hear everybody. And you're right. There are other women in the race, but not with my record,
Yes.
being on council and other things, and being an out and open LGBT member for this community for a very long time. I think you take away 2 voices that are needed at that debate, and being a lifelong Democrat and advocating for so many things that are principles. I believe that I should be there standing, and my voice should be heard.
Do you know what?
It's not my voice; it's our voice.
Do you know
Yes.
what number you are on the ballot? So if somebody's seeing it, they already know where you would be on the ballot. Have they did that
I'm
yet?
down ballot, but I'm.
Are you up at the top, middle, or so
No,
we'll know
I'm
where to
sort
look?
of towards the bottom, but it's Sue Lovell, so on the ballot. So
Okay.
going through. So when you get to pretty
The
much
mayor part.
yeah,
Yes.
right. Well, the mayor's part, and then on the ballot, the name down. I'm about halfway down, and on my ballot placement.
No, the reason I was asking because I know so many people. I don't know if they can do that. They just either go Democrat or
Do
Republican.
not do that anymore.
Okay, good. I just
And
wanted
city
you to say
races-
that. Yes.
City races are nonpartisan, so
Yes.
you have to go all the way through.
Yes,
And
that's what I've been
you'll
telling
go
people. Get
through-
used to reading the whole thing. Don't just get in your
You
mind,
know,
I'm
the mayor-
Democrat,
mayor's
just Democrat.
race,
Yes.
Mayor's race, controller's race, at-large races.
Yes,
the
yes,
district
yes.
races. And then we've got some HISD.
Yes,
courses that are
trustee
going
and it's
on.
HCT
Some
on there too,
HCC
right?
on
Yes.
there. And then you're gonna have the Metro bond election. That's
Okay.
on there also. So it's a fairly long ballot. but not
Yes.
that-
Okay.
not that long.
Can I know we're almost out of time, but can I ask you about the Metro bond, and I also want to ask you about HISD. There's currently several there's like the state's gonna take over. I think Houston is one of the few cities that has a charter like that the city can take over, or like
So
the
they have
state.
so many failing
failure
schools.
to-
Yes,
but
But
yes,
nobody,
yes.
I feel like nobody else is like that, or I read that.
Yeah.
that
So
we're
we've had some failing schools that have been repetitive, and others have moved up. But here's how I feel is those representatives are duly elected by their people in those districts, and if you don't like the job they're doing, then vote them out. It's as simple as that.
Yes.
Not for the state coming in and taking over.
Yes.
And if people are disappointed, and I think our school systems here, and we have something like 20 or 30 ISDs. in
Yes,
this
we
area,
do.
are extremely important to our city. They're the future of our city, and they're why businesses will come here, why people move here. You know, people move into neighborhoods, and one of the first things they look and ask about is what are the schools like?
Yes.
What are they? What are they like?
Yeah.
People will live in a house that they really don't. They'd like to upgrade, but if it's
Yes.
a good school, they'll stay for their kids. They will. It's extremely, extremely important. And so, what needs to happen is, you need to get, I guess, more engaged in how can we help with those failing schools.
Yes.
How can we bring them up? But all in all, my granddaughter, my children were in public schools. They had great educations, and I think all in all, 95% of the schools are teaching our children and doing a good job, and do not let just a small amount taint the whole system, because it's just not true. But if we don't fix that, then it's going to continue.
Yes.
If you say something over and over again enough, all of a sudden it becomes the truth. It cannot become the truth. We must do whatever we need to do.
And are you for this Metro bond? I mean, I know we talked about briefly, about the bond, and instead of putting the bond of getting more light rail,
Mm-hmm.
why don't we focus on putting a bench or something to cover up? Because I relied on public transportation for a little bit while my car was being
Yes.
worked on, because I didn't have insurance, or I have just liability, no rental, and whatever the
Yes,
case is,
yes.
and so I still had to go to work, but it was a nightmare to get from point A to point B
Oh, yes.
on a bus. If the bus was late, or if your other bus came early,
True.
and you're trying to catch 3 buses to get to your one destination, you're talking about an hour and a half, 2 hours, just to get to one place.
Yes, you're right.
And most of these stops that I'm talking about don't have it. All they have is a pole, and that's it. There's no bench. There's no nothing. So
No sidewalks.
no sidewalk. I'm like, oh my goodness, how can I get
Yes.
thinking I'm here like looking crazy, trying to make sure.
Yes.
So
You're right.
do you think that the bond is appropriate at the moment? Should they currently maybe fix something else that is a problem?
So I think there's two issues. This is really about bonding capacity.
Mm-hmm.
This is about asking you to give Metro a bunch of money for them to go get bonds and get the money. There's a second part to it you look at, which is the plan.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I believe, and I've seen in this city, that when enough voices get together and the I-45 corridor can help
Yes,
in that
yes.
way, enough people stand up and say, no, no, no. I believe that once the bonding capacity comes to Metro, if the citizens and his mayor, I'll be appointing who the Metro chair is and the majority of the board members. So the mayor has some control over what will happen. Now to the plan. And truthfully, yeah, the first thing is you need to get every single bus stop with a bench and a shelter to
Yes.
service your existing loyal customers. The second
Yes.
thing is go get the technology that Uber and Lyft
Yes,
and DoorDash
yes.
and Grubhub have that show you exactly where that bus is,
Mhm.
because they say they have it, but I've tried to use it and it doesn't work.
It does
You're
not
right.
work.
You're right.
It does not
Yeah.
work.
So
Yep.
you're
I've-
running,
I
and you're
have
running in the
used-
middle of the
yes.
street looking to see if the bus is coming.
They're not coming.
It's like 1 minute away.
That's like
Yeah.
so old
How
school.
can you be 1 minute away
And I don't
I'll
even
see
see you.
Yeah. So that
That's true.
technology, to get that, so that your customers, while you're working, and you're gonna, you can look and see, oh,
Yeah.
I can stay inside here, I can get out to the bus and catch my bus, just like you do with everything else, those things. Then, how we decide to build inside of our city a public transportation system that people wanna use to move around in our city,
Yes.
to me, should be a priority, and that means you have your major lines that your buses come, but how do you, once you get off, how do you get back into those neighborhoods?
Yes.
Can they have like streetcars that run back and forth? Pretty soon, you're gonna have a driverless car. How do you lay in another layer of systems that get you where you don't have to walk, and nobody was gonna walk in the
Yes.
city, probably any more than 4 or 5 blocks. So how do we get you connected from here to here
Yes.
in the inner city here? And then we can worry about how we're going to get people to Hobby Airport and Bush
Yes.
Airport. Once we get that finished, then we can worry about, is that really needed? And by the time you get to it, is it really gonna be a need? Because you've got people that there is a bus, the number 40 bus comes in front of my house, West Dallas, and it goes out to Hobby Airport. And I can get on and ride it. Okay? So if they set something up to go to Hobby Airport, and this city's 650 square miles, where are you gonna catch that? And if you're gonna catch it and it's like in downtown, you've gotta come to the west side of town.
Yes.
Why are you gonna catch something to come to downtown to catch the line that goes out to the airport, when you can just
Yeah.
go ahead and
That makes sense.
or why not make a deal with our cab companies who are struggling,
Yes.
that they become your transportation system, and again, help subsidize and pull down the cost of getting to the
That makes
airport,
sense.
which is why everybody's, not using it, and do something creative and forward thinking. So I'm for the bonding capacity,
Mhm.
but there are the plans that, and we definitely need an east and west, whether it's bus rapid transit is fine, we're building everything north and south. There
Mhm.
needs to be something along which was supposed to be the Richmond line that takes us from all the way over to the universities and takes us all the way over to the energy corridor
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
and connects up with the other lines. That must be done. And if not, then the whole system is just helter-skelter. So
Mm.
I would take a different look at the plan and prioritize it a different way, but I think we should try and get the money.
Okay.
We should support getting the money.
And just one more thing before we go.
Yes.
What is your thing about after-school programs? Because I've had a lot of kids call into my radio show. They needed after-school programs to get away from the games or just to do something.
Sure. So I have some experience with that. I raised boys.
Yes, yes, yes.
And it was great when they went to elementary school because they couldn't even leave the campus.
Yes.
You had to go get them. I was one of the people always running late.
Okay.
And then when they got to middle school, it was like they were running them off the campus.
Yes.
So,
You gotta go.
So I happened, live in Montrose. I lived near St. Stephen's Episcopal Church.
Yes.
And we went over there, and we have a center. It was called Havens Center.
Oh,
After
okay.
Helen Havens, who was the first woman Episcopal priest, and we put together a after-school program for middle school children,
Okay.
of which it was right near Lanier, and we had very limited slots, and it was full, of course, the first day, because we'd have our people walk them back to the center. We had homework help, we had fun things to do, we had like scavenger hunts, we did make a movie or write about the neighborhood, and you get a prize, and you know what we learned there? We learned all the things that where everybody goes, to like go to make out.
I learned all the good
We
stuff.
learned
Huh?
all the good stuff. And we paid you for telling us, and thank you very much.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
But
Miss
those
Sue.
kind of middle school programs
Yes.
are essential to keeping our middle school children close to us instead of being out there to be preyed upon.
Right.
And no doubt the recruitment that I watch
Is
the
high.
gangs recruit, they're very cagey and very smart. They cruise by the bus stops.
Yes,
to see
they
which
do.
Kids are there, and
And the sex trafficking too. Don't
yeah,
forget them.
No, it's very so. They're very essential. I think every middle school should have an after school program and be open to however many kids you can keep on that campus.
Yeah, we will have one. And thank you so much. And
Thank
Josh and
you.
I look forward to working with all of our panel here. And thank you
Yes.
guys so much for coming.
This was
You
great.
guys have
Yes.
to listen to POZ Impact. We are Houston's first radio show dedicated to people living with HIV, their friends and family, right here on Real Talk 100 Radio. Until next Monday, it's been Josh. Thank you.